you or with you currently?
What's up? Yeah, so I do have some guests. Well, it's like my wife's good friend. It's come to stay a couple days. Shouldn't be doing that. I just
I'm
went
seeing
connect. I thought it said I just dropped frames. I should be connected, hardwired, but I went ahead and hit go, so we're going live. Let's just
we're
roll
going
through
live.
it. Yeah. That's right. We're back. We're back. I just wanted to hit the live button and see if it was working, because it was trying to go wireless, and it shouldn't be. Like, it's hardwired. It went wireless. It said it dropped, and then it said we're back. So welcome back in. I figured we could just kind of chat a little bit anyway and catch up for the first little bit. Just act like it's us anyway.
Yeah,
and let things get back in here, because I mean, it's been, goodness, a lot has happened the last few weeks, and like there's reasons why we kept skipping out and not being able to record together, which is just life. But thought we could catch up on some things. So yeah, we were talking a second ago. If you've been here waiting and listening, I do have some guests in town. It's just been a wild couple weeks here at my place. I'm sure too. I mean, we've been talking. You've been busy working a lot. So it's just like life goes on.
Absolutely, it goes on. Yeah, look, hey, love to see y'all. Happy to be on the stream. I was telling Steve before, I was giving a leadership training course all today, about an hour and a half away. We had to drive there, do the course, and drive back. I was up pretty early to make that happen, but then Steve wrote and said, "Let's do it. Let's stream." No, that's how you sound in my head, by the way, Steve. By the way, always. Let's go.
Get up. Hey, wake up. Wake up. This is America calling. We need your help. We need your help now.
Yeehaw.
Yeah.
So we're here to talk. Everyone's joining on the stream. Happy to just hang out and chat and talk about what's up. And so first of all I know from my European perspective is many storms and bad things happening in America. Are you affected by that, Steve?
Yeah. So I guess that, like last week, of course, the first hurricane came through, and it didn't make it far up north to hit me, but there was, interestingly enough, a section of the county got flooded over, and they canceled school 2 days. So that was it. I mean, it just rained a lot here. There was no... I was thankful not to be in my other place, the old bunker, because I'm sure there was probably like 6 inches of water there. There's so much rain.
You got out just in time.
Yeah, but man, a lot of people, golly, it looks terrible over there. Everything you see over in that area, like personally, I know from traveling through that area, because it's not that far from me, right? I mean, 3 or 4 hours, you could get really into that area from where I live now. And the biggest issue is, like, the roads are crazy. You'll go in those areas and they'll have these tiny winding roads going up hillsides. They follow creek embankments. And I'm just thinking about, like, driving through those areas, and you'll see these lower areas of valleys, many valleys in there where there's a stream coming through. And, like, all these people would have properties there where they live, and you just think, man, that's probably all just wiped out. And, like, it wiped out the roads, and it's hard to get in there with everything that was already set up, and it was good. It was like, you'd be going down tight roads, you'd be scared to death, somebody come at you, and you wouldn't have enough, you pull over almost a cliff or something just to get around them on the back roads. So I knew that was going to be like a terrible scene where you can only get in there by helicopter. Like, the roads are, from what I've seen, there's some videos of roads being washed out and all that stuff. So thankfully, I mean, that's not here, but then now there's something right headed towards Florida that should be landing in about, like, I don't know, maybe, what is today's Wednesday or Tuesday? I've forgotten the days. Tuesday. So it's not supposed to be here till Wednesday night, early Tuesday morning, like in the middle of the night, which is probably another nasty thing to have.
And as I understand it, it's basically the devil's fart. Like, it's straight from the ether, like, so strong, very, very big.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're going to be, like, I mean, it's really bad. I hope everybody has... I was watching stuff today because the area that's right in the path of this thing is where my in-laws have the condo that I go to that you've seen probably. I talked to you about when I go down to Florida. It's like right in the target of this thing. Now they're not there, but again, you're worried about like neighbors who live there full time. There was a set of her neighbors that stayed in the first storm last week, and we're talking about how bad that was, and the water got like the condo's on the water in like an inlet, but the water came up like 7 feet that time above where it's like going into the first level garages. Well, they're saying 15 feet. That would be twice as high as that into the entire second story, which would be into people's places. And then, my goodness, if there's stuff floating around, there's so many like boats and stuff in there. It will like crash into buildings. It would be a nightmare. So
or a few crocodiles are going to show up in someene's bathtub or something.
It's like I mean, there would be like sharks like that, but.
Which excites me as an Australian. I'm like, great, send the sharks in. Let them have a bit of an animal. Look, if you're in the chat, want to welcome you in. And hey, I would love to hear the stories from you. How is the storm affecting you where you are? Are you okay? Is something going on? Filming in from, I've just got gray European skies outside. I don't have any hurricanes in the background.
Yeah, it's been a while since there's been so many, I don't know. I mean, so much. These are like historic level storms, and I mean, with everything else, it's just one thing after another. It's like nothing stops.
Right? I agree, Steve. It's Kamala's fault. It absolutely is. I told you.
See, it must be so wonderful right now to not be in America or American and have to deal with like the bombardment of just hell on earth. We're trying to escape. It's literally like, I don't know. If we can make it to 2025, we'll see you. Other side, America, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see on the other side.
I don't
we
know
also
what's
want to take
going to
a
happen. Like, this is just so awful. Like, these hurricanes, who cares, right? Then somebody can have a hurricane wipe out all these people who were thinking, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just such a bad, like, the hurricane stuff is it's really could be tragic. And I just, like, I just hope everybody is, try to do as much as they can to be safe. I realize there's probably 1 million people on the interstate trying to get out of there. So hopefully they'll all get out of there and get somewhere safe.
We want to take a shout out to our buddy Yahel, Wrestling with Gaming as well. He's down there. He said he's evacuating right. They got it hooked up. He's ready to go. So I think that's happening today or something like that for him. So definitely happening to members of our community. We've all seen what's happening with limited run games. That's be difficult for him as well. His whole freaking house just fell in on a tree.
Right.
So thoughts go out. Thoughts and prayers, guys. No, seriously.
Right.
So it's full on.
I didn't know. I mean, I don't know if anybody's seen that clip, but you can definitely go check that clip out where Clint's house had multiple trees fall on it. I do have. So the one like connection to somebody in that same town that I had, there's a group of us that go to the JMU football games. The day this all first happened was a Saturday or Friday night into Saturday, the last hurricane. So a little over a week ago. And we were in that game, and one of the people that we go with has a son that lives in Asheville. And she was like, I haven't been able to get a hold of him. And we're like, oh, gosh, that's awful. We didn't really know much at that time. Obviously, it was like Saturday morning. And, so that, I mean, just him alone, he has crazy stories where he's lost everything. And he was like a chef at the Biltmore Hotel, which is like this giant resort. It all got flooded out. I don't know all the story, but he was going and he heard like a dog yelping and went and saved this dog. And he was walking back with this dog and like a tree fell on him. And then somebody came, helped him, and he ended up in a hospital. And so it's like, oh my goodness. And it's still going on. And now it's going to come back again. But I don't think that people probably, just shout out to Yahel, get out of there. Everybody else get out of there. You can always pick up the pieces of stuff and like build it back, but
This is true.
Life isn't
Yeah,
replaceable.
man. So what have you? So let's go. Let's
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah,
from
let's move
the
on.
weather. I haven't been. I've been very busy lately. I've been really studying and practicing for my leadership training courses. They're improving. I'm really happy about that. So I haven't done a lot of retro projects recently. The closest one we can kind of see is there in the background. I've got a new wheel stand. Can you see the steering wheel
I do,
in the background?
I can even see the pedals.
You see the pedals? That's an Xbox 360 steering wheel.
Okay.
And even though I have a PS4, I have the Sims, the Sim racing games, Assetto Corsa and Gran Turismo 7. There's something about that Xbox 360 white steering wheel. It's one of the first like reasonable and good force feedback wheels. It's not great, but I really wanted to play it on the Xbox 360. So I got this like a standalone wheel stand for like $30 from a secondhand place. And it just lets me play sim racing games on the PS2, and then I can also hook up the Xbox 360. So I'm using the Xbox 360 on the CRT. It's that last generation of console that still natively supported the CRT, and I'm playing my sim on my CRT, and that's just my simple pleasure that I like.
That's excellent.
So now I have 2 steering wheels set up in my room. That's too many wheels, but I love it. I got one there as well.
Yeah, well, that's cool. Yeah, basically the last few weeks I have been in working a lot. I got sick last week, so I mean I could work a little bit, but I had like this terrible phlegm coming up, and I was afraid I was going to cough a loogie into somebody's CRT, so I just couldn't really do much. So, but I did buy an amazing CRT last week, so I went and got that. That was awesome. I had finished up a round of RGB and S-Video mods to different CRTs this month. So there was a JVC that was not a D series. It was just a JVC like 20-inch AV something or other that only had composite video in. And I was able to add the RGB kit to it. And then there was a Sony that was RGB moddable that I did. And then there was a Sony that was not RGB moddable, but it was S-Video moddable. So,
okay, that's good.
Yeah, so got to do all those.
That's a bit rare, isn't it? Like, that to be able to do the S-Video mod. That's
right. So that's, it's just one that didn't have there's a lot of things I've been learning, right? We've been talking more about RGB mods. I mean, there's just some that aren't compatible with that, but they might have, like this one, a ability to at least add S-Video. And so that one, all those turned out really well. The mods look good on them, like the spot where the SCART and it all looks professional. I could show some pictures of that here soon. And then, I bought that TV, and then, let's see, I got a few more, like, smaller PVMs in the shop right now, and one of the things, though, that I got dropped off about a week or two ago, actually more than that, is another B&O TV.
Oh, nice. Yep.
Yeah, so
I feel like
some B&O stuff coming.
Observing the work that you've been doing, and I'm going to say broadly, let's say over the last 6 months, and just what we're talking, what you're telling me, what I'm observing from your Twitter, I feel like you've really stepped up a level in your proficiency, in the skill level, and also your ability to turn over these jobs and get them out the door. Because at the end of the day, you got to make sure you're doing jobs. We got to get one done so we can do the next one and so forth. And I feel like 2 things are possibly in play here with you. One, there's a skill of your craft and you are learning, trying, evolving. And I think like you've stepped up that level. Some of the things you're doing, the things you're showing me, the proficiency, the level, like, hey, I'm doing this one, then this one, then this one. That is definitely higher. Your level of skill, I reckon, as a observer, from a detached observer. I also suspect that as a business person, you're getting better at working out the jobs you should take and the ones you shouldn't take. the ones where, yeah, okay, I'm not quite sure, but I reckon I got a decent chance. Because there's some, like you've had many times, you do that job and it's 5 days later and you're still banging your head against the wall and you're like, how am I going to help this customer? This customer's out of pocket. They don't have a thing. That's not a good situation. So absolutely, that still happens. It's always going to be a factor of any craftsman, but I guess we're trying to get that number down. We obviously want to get that number as low as possible. And just the impression I see from the outside, things seem like they're doing well for you and your skill and your business. How do you feel, Steve?
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's been a great, it's crazy to think we're almost getting towards the end of this year again, like we kind of mentioned. And I think this is probably considered maybe year 4. This will be of me doing this for full time. Like, so of course, hopefully, yeah, I'm getting better, but there was like one job this entire year that was a CRT that I couldn't fix out of all of them. And yeah, and I had a bad feeling about it. So we had discussed this beforehand, because with the customer, obviously, but there was, it's a 310, an FV 310. So it was a,
oh yeah. Okay.
Somebody that really wanted to keep this thing, and it had, those will short out. What had happened is it shorts out. So it like, he said he was using it and it just made a pop and then it stops working. And then you try to turn it back on. And I actually have a lot of stuff because I tried to fix this thing. But like you said, I learned I'll tell you, well, we can go through this a little bit. This would be a good one. Because like you said, it's the one failure of this year. I've got it up here, 52 CRTs that were successful, one not successful so far. It's pretty good turnaround. Now, again, and this was somebody that sent one in that I was like, it's probably could not be fixed, but.
So even when it can't, you've still got an eye for it, even though that's always going to happen. Look, dude, 1 out of 52 is a pretty freaking good strike rate.
Well, like this, so here's the thing with this one. This one, again, like I said, he said he was using it. It shorted out. I really probably would not have taken the job if he hadn't sent in a regular PVM with it to get worked on. So he had 2 of them. So I was like, okay, I'll do both of them. And I'll try the second one. And I have to charge you, it was like $150 minimum. And I said, if I fix it, it will be more than that. Unless it's just something tiny that I fix immediately and that covers it. So what those higher end TVs, that one does is he brings it to the shop, I power it on, it immediately tries to turn on, you hear the tube come on, and then it just shuts itself off, and then it starts clicking a pattern on an LED light in front. So I was like, okay, that means something. So I got in the service manual, and the LED pattern it was saying there's a short on the B plus voltage, which is a major voltage line in this TV. And unfortunately, this TV is like a PVM. It's got like 6 or 7 boards in it because it's one of the newer ones, higher end ones. And so the B plus voltage pretty much runs through every single one of those boards. And so the manual said change these 2 chips, like ICs, one on the main board, one on the top board, neck board, and hopefully it will work. And that's all it said. It said one of those is shorted. So I was like, okay, hopefully that just does it. And so I started pulling the parts, testing them. I was like, they're not even testing bad. I ordered replacements, was luckily enough able to find them. But again, I ordered the replacements, installed the replacements, no change. I started pulling I took my meter out, put it in ohms mode to check resistance on the boards and try to use that and see if I could find any kind of indication to see if there was a short to ground somewhere, or if a part was shorted out, if it was reading different ohms than it should along the B plus line. And my meter would send me down these rabbit holes basically to find parts. I'd pull the part, check it, and it was actually good. And then I'd have to put it back, and it's like, so I couldn't actually get it to, I was like, my meter must be not good enough. You need to have probably one of those really nice digital multimeters to do this better. And so after just doing that for a couple hours, like you said, I was like, I can't get this. I don't have any obvious things. I reached out to another guy, Six Tanks, on Twitter, and we talked about it too. And it was pretty much the same thing. Like we had like a dead end. So that's what I kind of told him. And I couldn't really, I mean, I didn't know what else I would have to do. I was like, I don't really, it's a big TV too. So
it's very difficult.
No change. Yeah. And again, the parts on that, those chips are like, they were like $30 for the 2 chips. They weren't cheap.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Right.
So it's like, oh my gosh. Yeah. It's not like caps where it's like $1 for 5 caps or something. So that one, yeah, it does happen. It's always best for me to be able to do ones that I have already done. Like I can crank through again these PVMs a lot and do a really good job with them and stuff. And I'm gonna do an episode soon. So I've got so much stuff recorded also, but I'm gonna do an episode where I'm gonna explain in a video format kind of what you get when you do a restoration, like from the shop, a little bit more about it, right? So
okay, what do you mean? Like what
a normal restoration process is. Like walk through it all. I'll show like a folder of 1 or 2 of them, because every single one of those CRTs that's on that list has been documented. Like the 50 have all got links, a drive folder link to them that each one of the customers can go in and look at really at any time. Let's see if there's anything else really crazy going on in here.
What do we got?
But there's no, that was the only one that really went bad.
Right on. So it's overall, it's good message overall. And that's good for you. That's good for the customers to give them more accurate information. Hey, I really don't think that what's going to work. Or yes, I'm pretty confident we can get a result on this one. So yeah, nice for you. Nice that you've got more confidence in your income. You're going to be able to turn those over. Just good for business in general.
Oh yeah. So that's, I mean, as far as like the business end, it's been super great. But of course that's also made it so I haven't been able to spend as much time as I did last year. It seems like every year it's like less and less of us being making videos and being online, but that's just kind of like the way as you go, I guess, when you get busier with one thing, other things you don't have as much time for. But you know, it's crazy to think that I'll be able to do more CRTs this year and have done the move and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, right now I've just got a ton of these weird ones in here. But I have branched out this year. Like last year, I don't even think I had done any, and nobody had hired me to do any RGB mods.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's very common for you now, isn't it?
Much more now to do that, or a lot more CRTs that are like consumer-based TVs have been
yeah, because that was always a factor. That's an interesting, actually, a good topic there. Because I remember over the years you've explained that you're a professional. Of course, someone's got to ship that thing to you. That's your time. Ship it back. So typically, the value proposition on the restoration is usually around a professional monitor, something that already costs a bit of money, something that it's worth to put that extra time in. And I've also noticed this year you're working on many more consumer level sets. No doubt the RGB mod is that skill that you've established, that you are much more proficient at that. And other creators have come out with great products to enable you. You've got that dongle board that you use. That's no doubt helped you as well along the way. But what has led to that uptick in you working on consumer sets? Is it just the trend that now consumer sets are worth more, so the value proposition gets more even?
I think there's a lot more to it. Like, so there's a couple of things here. I can't, like, there's not that many PVMs. I have to do more work on these other machines. I also feel like it's my it's kind of like part of the big picture here of what I want to do with the retro tech eventually is, after I'm gone and done, there will still be hopefully like a resource available, at least to have some kind of information, even if it's just a video on a TV or something down the road. So I enjoy getting into doing things that I've not done before and working on new TVs, but it's the same thing. It's like if someone is willing to invest that into it, because a lot of times when you're talking about investing money like that into restoring and then RGB modding a CRT that's this consumer set, you're taking something that originally didn't cost that much money most of the time, right? It's like maybe there's $100-200 invested on a higher end CRT or something, and then you're adding more to that. So if someone's like, there's a guide, like, again, there's a lot of guides at For of them now, thankfully. If there's something that's quite easily doable, or I think it's doable, then yeah, I'll take a job if they're willing to pay for it and send it to the shop. It's kind of a thing where I'll need the CRTs in here. I got to try. Like I'm always, I start working through stuff and then I'm like, oh, I need to make sure more are coming in as ones are leaving. And because like you say, yeah, to keep it, I absolutely love what I do, but when you're in business with it, you have to think about the finances of things and turnover and what is actually happening. Is this actually, is it actually making money? It's
a family to feed, baby.
Right.
Hey, you said an interesting line at the start of all of that yes, consumer sets are becoming more valuable. They're more now, some people want to invest into that, but that you suspect that maybe we've passed peak PVM and there's only a limited number of those sets out there. And maybe the flow of that actually is slowing down to a significant level.
Well, I mean, like it's so I look around constantly and it's trying up on a more plethora scale where it's not as easy to find them as it was online when there's more of them, and especially good ones. But I still see people that will send me something where they get a crazy load every few months where it's like 20 PVMs or something, and you're like, oh my goodness, like what in the world? And they'll find it from a studio or somebody drunk in it or something. And so that still does happen, believe it or not.
Okay.
But there's not.
Keep the hope, keep the faith alive. The hope is up, people. Go ahead.
But it is weird. Like this, at the same time, I can go in my area looking for TVs, just anything that's good, and it is like months of just garbage and nothing. And then it pops up 2 or 3, 4 good ones will show up at one time, and then you're like, oh my goodness, I've got too many of them. But I think I was thinking about that too. I was like, man, when it's like, I was like, I time to get away from you, but it's like 2030, 6 years from now. How hard is it going to be to get CRTs then? 2040. I mean, it's like, on one hand, which maybe I'll wheel it out here for everybody in a minute. On one hand, you know that like these things last a long time, right? But it's still getting older every year, right? So it's
because are they changing hands? I mean, then it becomes down to are they the barn find, the studio find, the person who wants to get rid of them is one thing. But then once they're in the hand of someone who likes it or uses it or knows the retro games, how much are they offering that back out again? Because that creates a market, that movement. And also the factor that we've spoken significantly about on this show, that these are incredibly heavy boxes that are difficult to ship, and therefore we get local market distortions. And I'm thinking definitely in Europe where we don't have unified shipping, so we don't have the ability to send it really that easily across borders. At least you've got U-Haul, but nevertheless, something that's available in your local area is quite different too. It's not like a game. I can just order it from eBay. Boom, I've got it. There is one American market for games, almost straight up and down. But the market is still a little bit different for CRTs.
Yes, and it's so yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it is getting definitely tougher to find them and everything. But like the thing is, though, they'll last. Like I got one that's from the 70s, so I bought this 17-inch KV, which was really funny. I went and bought a KV 1710. I saw, and I sent you pictures of it from Facebook Marketplace. It's like 15 minutes from my house.
It's glorious. It looks glorious.
It's awesome. So I was like, well, I'm taking something to test it because the guy was asking like $100, and I show up. And it was a younger guy. I mean, probably my age, probably younger than I am, probably 5 years younger, in his 30s still. He looked. He had it in his building out beside his house. I saw it. I was like, oh, that looks awesome. And he's like, yeah, this was my granddad's. He bought it and had it. And now he's 92, and we're like clearing out all his old stuff. And I think he's had this since, he bought it new. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I was like, do you know how to use this thing? And he said, no, I don't know. Let's see. And he's like, I'll plug it in. So he plugs it in and we pop it on, and all I see is like a faint flicker of blue. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know. I'll take it if it's got all the colors in the tube. I have to check that. So I sat there and whipped out. I was like, I've got something in the car. Do you mind if I go grab to test it? And I popped out the N64 with the RF adapter. And
legit. Okay.
Yeah, and then I had that going into a just a coax adapter that splits it off into two prongs because it's so old. It doesn't have the actual spin-on coax. You have to do the two-prong into the back of it. And so I'm like, I think I know how to do this, right? And I'm like, so I put the prongs in there. I get this N64 hooked up. I I power it on. And I mean, I'm turning all these knobs. And I'm like, oh, I'm seeming to see something. And I'm like, oh, there's a vert knob on the back. I start turning and it's vertical hold. There's a bright knob on the back. I start turning, brightness comes up, and then all of a sudden it just boom, the light comes on, and it's showing me the N64 greetings of Mario 64. So it's Mario's head, and I'm like, awesome, okay. And so the guy was laughing. He's like, oh man, thanks for bringing that. That's cool. Seeing the N64. So I said, hey, I'll take it. I bought it for $80, and then I brought it home. It's in here in the shop, and the N64 seems to look the best on it. Like, comes through the clearest through that little adapter.
So if people
everything
don't know
else,
what Steve's talking about, there is an official adapter made by Nintendo that has the multi-out on one end and has RF out on the other. And I've got a couple of these myself. There was one made for each generation, even though I'm pretty sure they're all the same. Yeah. Although composite can get wacky between models and between PAL and NTSC. But yeah, it'll just turn the composite straight out into RF. I think I've got the N64. I think I've got I want to say I've got either the Super Nintendo or the Famicom version that would have gone into the top loader Famicom as well. So that's one way to get RF. So how come you chose to take the N64? Was it just the first one on the shelf?
Like I said, it had to so I have been using that to test the RF in every TV because it comes straight out of the console. Yep. The SNES I've been using is the Super Famicom, so it won't fit in the back of that. And even if I could get it in there, it's not sending out channel 3 or 4. It's conflicting. It's trying to send out channel 92 or something. And so I'm not able to use it but it actually has an RF direct out of the back, but it's not the right channel.
Yeah,
So
okay, crazy.
the easiest
Roger 8 Esquire is the expert at all that shit. He understands that. What was also, before we go on as well, it was originally listed for 100.
Yeah.
But you got it for 80. Was this some nutter wheeling dealing?
Oh yeah, I was like, I was like, would you I was just like, hey man, well he said earlier, I was like, I'd like to test it. He's like, yeah, I'm just trying to keep it out of the dump. And I'm like, okay. So then I was like, well, I'm just going to say, can I give you $80 for it? And he said, sure. That's not really all I said. It was like, would you take $80 for it? I mean, I wasn't going to. And he said, yeah, that's all I asked. And then I said, thanks. But I also took that 15 of that, and I was able to find a paper copy of the service manual for the TV on eBay.
Oh, cool.
So I bought that for $15 because it's got the schematics, and there's like nothing on this TV, like on the internet. There's no videos of it ever. So it's like a new discovery here. Like archaeological find. Here, I'll go get it in a second. Me? Everybody drop a like for us. Drop a like for us today. That's the first time I've asked for a like today. Just drop us a like.
If you're alive, please put a like there. We'll take a little moment to pause as Steve goes, oh, look at his shorts. See his bare legs there. To see this amazing TV that Steve got. Wood grain. It's beautiful. Super legit. If you're running RF into it, looks great. Yeah, please drop that like if you can. Write a comment. Say hello. Very interested. Nume Poo. So you got a BVM 20 F1U for $300 on eBay? Wow. What about the shipping, bro? How did that even work? It was originally listed as broken. Was it not broken? Give us some more information. It was listed as broken. You thought you'd take a chance on it for $300 and then you brought it here. Also, while you're all watching, guys, I want to introduce my little co-host here. This is Venom. He's my new adoptee. He's a little mini dachshund, and he grumbles. Can you grumble for us? You want to make a little grumble? No? So he's always at my feet now. He's my little guy. He lives with us now, and I never thought that I could love something so much. I mean, my beautiful partner, but also the dog. So yeah, I like this guy, and I haven't had a pet since I was a kid. And I always wondered how you're going to look after it, the commitment, all this stuff, but he sleeps in with us as well. He's got that strong social anxiety that little dogs sometimes do, so he doesn't like to be left alone. We got to lock him in the bathroom when we go out sometimes if I've got to go to work or something. But oh yes, who's the grumbler? Yes, you want to say hello? Yeah, you want to say? Huh? You want to say?
All right, CRTs and puppies. There we go.
That is it. All right, doggy, we can go down. We're going to look at the CRT.
Oh yeah. All right. Awesome. All right, so here's that. Right, that's this console I brought, and then.
Okay. Yep.
Maybe we could switch over here and have a full view of
and show the adapter. Maybe.
That's what I'm gonna do.
That RF adapter. It's.
So yeah, I found this at like a video game store in like the dollar bin, right? At some point, and
I got it for the same reason. It was like $1. Like, I want to collect it for
$1. So it says it specifically says, see, it's got the N64 logo on this one. So all this does is literally go in the multi-out, and then it's got an RF out like that, and then it's got channel 3 and channel 4 selector switch right here. Now this, you stick it in there, but you could use like any good RCA cable with that. So I just have this nice one that I was using, and then we'll show you the real item here is this. But I don't know that I had I mean, it's been like since the N64 was new, I don't think I had seen this adapter since then, like for the N64. So I grabbed it, and I haven't seen one since. So I don't know that there were that many made, but I'm sure if you go on, they're cheap. I'm sure if you find,
I think there's not too many. I've seen them a lot in the junk bins in Japan. They go for whatever, $1, $2, something like that. I want to say I'm pretty sure it actually went up to being a GameCube version as well. I'm pretty.
Okay.
I don't take too far out of school, but I think there was also a branded GameCube version. Definitely Super Nintendo. Definitely Famicom top loader because that's the one I've got as well. And of course, the original Famicom in Japan was RF only to begin with. Yeah, one of those like oddities of the past that we needed that to get the RF out. Oh no, I want to say you were right. Sorry, the Super Famicom has RF out built into it. As you,
Yeah.
oh, I get confused with all the things, but I think it was the top loader. The
Yes,
top loader only has multi-out.
Let's push this guy over here. Maybe.
There we are. Look at that.
It's right. Yeah, so first it's got this really cool high quality
the carrying handle.
like you could actually, I mean, this thing's heavy. It's about the biggest 17-inch CRT I've ever seen. So let's turn it around here at the front first and get a closer look at the accent in here. So this says, solid state, got some color adjustments. So all this stuff was out of whack when I got it, but it's pretty easy to get it to come on. And like the amazing thing is everything works on it. I'll show you here in a second. We'll get it hooked up. But like there's this little auto AFT function. You push this and like a light comes on and stays on. Came with even the original like antennas.
What's the down below the Sony on the bottom line with the three colors? Does that say Chromatron or Trinitron?
It says Trinitron.
Trinitron.
Yeah. Oh. So I don't know that I can. Which one? There we go. Maybe that puts us a little smaller down in the bottom.
Yo, Belmont's in the chat. Hey, buddy, he's having a little break from his job there.
So yeah, you've got the red, green, blue down here, Trinitron logo, Sony, and then it says solid state over in this area, and then push-pull volume. It's loaded with crazy features, dude. Like this one is basically, it says picture controls, but that's your contrast, right? Mm-hmm. But if you pull it, it goes soft. Like it says soft, pull for soft.
Oh, it's got
a softener. And then down here,
softener.
Yeah,
what's the softener doing?
It literally makes the image less sharp, like blurrier.
Oh, okay, sharp. Okay, sharpening.
And then some of the crazier things are like on the back and stuff. You start looking around back here. So behind, these were the two antennas. This is your input board. This is your input board right here. You see that? You just get these like screw prong things here, 4 of them. One says VHF, one says UHF. So VHF is the one you're going to use for channels 3 and 4 and 2 for consoles. And this is the old Radio Shack adapter that
cool.
I was like, I know I need one of these, but I need to get like 50 more of these things because, for no reason, I had to find them in a dollar bin somewhere. Yeah. So you hook those in. This is super cool. This is the original antenna from Sony from the 70s, like the OEM. Mm-hmm. This just plugs. Yeah. It just plugs right in the back like that. You don't they made it connectable like that. And then this is the other Sony OEM antenna. Like, it's crazy. It came with both the OEM antennas.
It's so good because I can see from here the antenna says Sony on it as well.
Much so I'll check that. So this is the
look at that.
The OEM AN15 just ring Sony antenna for the UHF high range. And then, like I say, since I have those prongs plugged in there, this won't stick all the way in there as it should, but normally this would be in your lower one, and this slides in there. So this is another original. Whoop, man, it's got too bright.
Oh, that is so cool looking. That's polished.
Sony, this is the AN14, that was the AN15. And I mean, this thing's like might as well be new. It's so nice.
Yeah.
It's dirty, but so that's the original antennas, and it came with another antenna that I put up in storage. I should have brought it out. It was like so old. It looked like something out of, I don't know, out of literally could have been used on that show that was out, Fallout, like that
Okay,
old school. So let's see here. Now, behind these antennas, this is one of the things I was telling you I found and I was adjusting. Turn some light back there. You've got BRT right here. It says BRT and VER. And these are just knobs. So you can just, they're adjustments. That's how you, this is your brightness knob, like your brightness adjustment. And this is your vertical hold.
Vertical blank. Yeah, duh, brightness. Sorry, that sounds obvious now you say it.
But if you keep going, this thing's crazy because if you keep going and you look, there's a bunch of holes down here, right?
Yeah.
Let me get this power cable out of the way. I can't, this is the goofiest stuff. So if you go down here, you have 8 holes here to adjust things, and it's got like a lot. So you can adjust sub brightness, and then you've got blue, green, red color adjustments, and then you've got horizontal size, okay?
Huh.
But you've also got horizontal frequency, which you normally wouldn't have to do. That's center, but you don't do that way, but that's there. Vertical size, and there's even a linearity adjustment.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's
on a consumer TV set. That's amazing.
That's not even the end of it, dude. Look at this thing. So if you like, I was like, well, what's on the bottom?
Wouldn't even thought to have looked on the bottom.
There's another potentiometer down here that's for horizontal center control, and then vertical center controls. So you could sit it on its side, I guess, and Tate mode and adjust it like this. That's what I was waiting for the manual for. Was to see what it was saying.
Did you find those adjustments on the bottom, or did the manual have to tell you?
I haven't got the manual yet, so I just found this by looking at it. And then the darn thing, if that all isn't crazy enough, get back on here. Gosh, this thing's so heavy. There's a red little button down here, and it's like a reset button, a tactile reset button for the flyback. What the heck is that about? You push it, it literally just turns the screen off and comes back on.
Wow, what does that achieve? What would
I have no idea. That's why I had to get this manual and do like a whole proper, video on this thing. So let's yeah, that's pretty much everything I think on this set. And we can get it hooked up and check it out here and see what it looks like.
Just Sony coming in with the quality right from the beginning. So those knobs, they're the recessed knobs, right? So you got to stick the screwdriver in.
Yes, you got to stick a screwdriver in. So I tried to take the back off, but I think I have to take the screws out of the bottom also, and then it doesn't come like from here out. It comes all the way from the front like out. So that's what I was just, when I bought the manual, I was like, I'll just wait for the manual because there's an issue. It has a, and I maybe I could show this, but it has kind of wacky horizontal static convergence where the beams are just like obviously not lined up perfectly anymore. If it has an H-stat adjustment inside there though, like to turn that, this thing will look amazing. Like that's the one thing about it. Good. Let's see. That's do is we'll take our RCA cable and we're really gonna just stick it.
It's got that little mono speaker at the front there. Sony got that old school Sony badge. Trinitron silver wine at the bottom. So Vomac's asking, could the red button be a manual degaussing function if the TV doesn't do it on startup?
No, it's a little different. I'll show it to you. It's like,
Okay. Yep.
so somebody did tell me when I got this TV and I posted it somewhere that they knew something about it, and it's got maybe like a split and a flyback or a dual flyback system or something. This would have probably been one of the super high-end TVs, I'm thinking. Back in 1972.
72. I mean, the thing's older than us.
Yeah.
God
Yeah, that's what I was laughing. I was like, this thing's like 50 years old. If a CRT can last 50 years and not be restored, what can a restored one do?
Yeah.
So let's plug all this stuff up. Got that. I know this thing just keeps popping out.
Yeah, they don't hold in sometimes, those aerial plugs.
No, and if I yank on the cable, it's going to pull it out.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely worth it for 80, $100.
All right.
What a great.
Let me see here.
Here we go. Yo, Vaporware in the chat. Nice to see you, buddy.
See you coming up there. Look at that.
Static. Yeah.
How's that?
It's got the blue tinge, but we see the. Oh, look at that. Steve's getting spooky. He's ready for Halloween.
Yeah, dude, this is a nice Halloween set. Okay. Do not adjust your TV screens. Okay. Channel 4. Let's go ahead. Here we go. There we go.
Oh, right on. Bang. Straight into the EverDrive. There it is.
Yeah.
That was easy.
So you can see, I mean, from there you can kind of read it. I mean, that's pretty dang
looks very clear.
Dead
So what
clean.
we do know is broadly, when we're speaking about analog video formats, good, very good. Like the best RF is equivalent to composite, like more or less. Now, the difficulty becomes when the RF isn't encoded correctly, or encoded is the word, isn't made correctly, or maybe there's interference on the way through in the cable or something like that. But in theory, great top quality RF is more or less at a composite level.
Yeah,
And that's what we're seeing right here.
I mean, that looks crazy. I think. I mean, 50 years old. I've done literally nothing besides turn some knobs on this. What's up, Mark? Good day. Yeah. So I don't know, like this thing.
One owner, low miles, the classic stereotype. So there's that. What is that? What's that red thing there?
See, it does light up though.
Is it a button? What is that thing? Sorry,
That's what I was waiting for the manual to say. I'm not sure. It says AFT.
You don't know what that is. AFT.
Auto/AFT. So I don't know if that's a color thing.
Hey, Electron Ash is in the chat. Hey, buddy. Good to see you. See you've been working hard, been following you on Twitter. You're doing a lot of hard work. So there's that. So, okay, do you want to, is it possible for you to press the red switch at the back and show us? Will that show us anything interesting?
So I don't know if this will show anything. Let's see if we can see the difference here on super soft mode when we get Mario back.
It's a bit washed out on the camera, but
nah, yeah, it's not going to probably show.
no, it fell off.
I pulled too hard.
That's it. Steve pulled
yeah,
too
it's
hard.
going to be too.
Fell off.
Yeah, it's not going to show there. That's way too minor.
Okay.
Way too minor. But all these knobs are so awesome.
So tactile and clicky and just satisfying.
So
do I understand the top one is channel and the bottom the top big one, and that's fine tuning just under it.
No, fine tuning is in like the middle of it. It's got like a middle knob. The bottom is the UHLs. What else are we gonna look at? Oh yeah, the button in the back. And then you've got like, hang on. You got like this that can drop all the color out. Like,
we can see that. Yep.
And hue change.
Sure, it's like a saturation type thing on
that
color.
Like a chroma kind of.
Chroma, sorry.
Yes, kind of that hue. whatever they call it, hue. Let's see.
Looking great.
All right.
So how did you? This was Facebook Marketplace in
Here's
your
this,
area.
I'm gonna push this button.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
let's go. Oh, it dropped the screen. Whoop,
Yeah.
and then back.
Yeah. Like you just hold it. It just like cuts the voltage out, and then you let it go, and it comes right back. Isn't that
Does
weird?
it sound like a big house?
It's
Like,
no.
does it have that
It
same-
literally just sounds like you're cutting the voltage from to the. I think it's a button right in the back of the flyback. That's where the position of it is. So it feels like you're literally putting a stop on a flyback high voltage, and there's no voltage going in and out of the tube. Definitely don't want to lose your knob on this one. I mean, so that's.
So
I'm
quite
excited
close.
to get on, and yeah, I mean, it was ridiculous how close it was and everything.
Okay, you just scored the CRT jackpot, basically. Such a great set at a reasonable price within driving distance.
Oh yeah, yeah. So this is.
Do you know?
This
do you
is
know
like
how
my favorite thing.
Do you have any info about how long the ad was up for? How popular it was?
It was up for a while because I told you I got sick, and I check every day.
Oh yeah.
So I got sick last week, so I sent the guy a message, and then after I couldn't meet up with him, and then I checked back in a couple days later. He's like, "Yeah, it's still here," and so I was like, "Okay, I'll come get it right now," and I did. I went out and got it.
That's interesting because I was trying to ascertain. Right, is it like gone in hours or a bit like? No, you could still get it some days later.
But remember that one I sent you pictures of? That was the one with the crazy halo, the light. Did you see the pictures in our chat about that one from the 50s? So right after I got this one,
Oh, this wasn't that one? Okay.
about 2 days later, I found another one that was a large, this style. It was like, I can't remember. Well, we'll pull a picture of it. It's on my Twitter timeline. It has legs.
Yeah, I need to go back to the chat.
The bezel, like this part, is white, and it has a light on it. And you click the light on it, and it lights that bezel up, and it's called the halo. And it lights up, but it's a black and white TV. So it's like something from the 50s, like a home set. Still worked. Some guy was getting ready for $100. That ad came up, and it was gone pretty quickly. I'm guessing that guy must have put it in a couple places, like he said he was a collector in his ad, but he wasn't close to me. He was like a good distance away, not like this one, or I would have gotten it.
Yes, I've got that one now. The halo around this
Yeah,
white
let me see.
like looks like porcelain.
Yeah,
or
let's see if
something
I
like
can get
that.
some pictures of that.
Do I have that up? So yeah, bring that up and then we'll discuss because that's actually a very fascinating concept and I've got some theories, but bring it up.
Okay. So let's go over here. I'm gonna
Chris
find it.
Steinholm's there. Chris is there. Steve's assorted stuff. He's loving it. Electron Ash is doing his thing.
Yes, here we go. Okay.
Yeah, you got that pic? Fascinating.
So I'll pull it over here, and then we'll.
I assume this is the 1950s version of like colors behind the TV set that just add something. They're just trying to make something happen, but it's not really adding functionality.
So everybody can check out the screen right now. I have up a picture of the TV set, and it's just got the halo light around the screen. You can see it right there, that bezel.
That's the white area.
And then I think I have another picture here, Sylvania.
Yeah.
And there it is with Bewitched on it or whatever. That one was one that I didn't have the chance to go get, but it was it was a cool one. I'm sure somebody got it.
The white bezel glows and illuminates, and it's just meant to provide a nice effect. Is that the intent?
It's literally just a little feature. Well, like it's what they were doing in the old days to market that TV as a different higher end TV. It's like when you go now and they were making TVs with backlights coming out of them. right?
With different colors, like
Yeah,
if
it's
it's blue,
like,
then it'll be blue, and yeah.
it's kind of like the same thing was tried before with those TVs. It's just like a little gimmick.
Everything that's old, right? Gimmick. Everything that's old, that's new again.
Yeah.
They're trying whatever they can to do it. I liked on that ad that they were showing Bewitched as well. We watch Bewitched here. It's like a fun. We watch the colorized versions. That's obviously direct black and white. I couldn't find the original black and white Bewitched, only the colorized ones. Sure. So the lesson that we've learned here is since the beginning of time, TV manufacturers have tried gimmicks and little things to sort of help their sets stand out from the crowd.
Yeah, and I mean, really, I was laughing. I can't. What piece of tech? Like, what piece of tech do you think is made today? Today, one single piece of tech that is made that you'll be able to go on Facebook Marketplace 50 years from now, buy for $80, and it'll still even work. Like, I'm
looking around my room
man.
trying to think. Yeah, I don't know. Well, the thing that'll probably work
Like a
is the
retro
same thing that's been working.
yeah, the CRT and a retro tank. So I'm like, I can't really. I'm excited to get into this one. Of course, I'm trying to catch up on all my work and things first, and I'm waiting. I'm definitely waiting for that manual to show up, just because I want to do the exact process. If there's something weird, I don't want to miss it and snap something off. Because it's never been opened before, besides probably when it was obviously manufactured. But it's my new hat. I want to replace that Toshiba that's in my house with it.
Oh, yeah, okay, the one in the lounge room, sure.
Yeah, the one that you saw was but that one's got a lot more it can do, but still.
And it's large. That's, I guess, the other factor. That
yeah, this looks large, but it's really only 17 inches. Like, it takes up as much space as something that's 20 inches or more, but it's not that big.
Yeah, something for the wood grain basement, I dare say, or whatever your new
I have to remake that over there.
Of that is, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks great. Something in RF, and then do you have one of those what are they called? The Mr. Add-ons adapters. You have one of those, don't you, that converts composite to RF?
Yes, the what do you mean, the
reflex?
Yes, yeah. Now, I was having interesting issues with this TV not liking the signal coming out of the reflex. And I couldn't figure out whether it was something to do with, like, it was picking up more noise possibly from the power, because you're using it just takes USB-C power. But that's kind of why I kept messing with the N64, as I was getting a really good signal from it.
Sure.
And
USB power is something I really don't understand what's going on around power. Maybe Ash is Electron Ash is in the chat, and he can see, because there's that you're replacing. Where you take a console and replace the original analog power supply with a USB-C solution, and I always got the feeling there was possibly some issues with that, but a lot of people don't have a problem. A lot of people swear by it, think it's great. But there was something because the power supply is digital. I'm such an idiot. Maybe someone in the chat can fill us in about the pros and cons of switching a console over to having a USB. Are there these interference issues? And then Reflex is also using that as well. Konami.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's more stuff to do with the like bricks or the blocks themselves, that.
Oh yeah, okay.
Could be sending out bad. It's basically you're reusing a phone charger. But then, like, the cables, those cables get wacky, start not working, losing connection. I'm not sure.
So yeah, okay. It still relies on you having a quality power supply.
Right. Yeah, I think so. Well, this is the only TV I've really had any issues with it so far, which is another reason I want to keep testing with it. There we go.
Right on, absolutely. That Reflex is fire. Everything else is a high quality solution, no doubt. I mean, that TV's 50 years old, so
yes,
no
it's
doubt
hard to
is
tell.
a special use case.
I mean, but it just looks so darn good at the N64 natively. It's like, what the heck? So this will be a fun one to have. like I said, document, have in the collection. I love it.
So you think that's something you'll want to keep for yourself?
Yeah, probably this one.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, unless like again, a museum or like something crazy, movie studio. I did have somebody reach out to me that was working.
Make an offer. Someone needs to.
Somebody did reach out. Somebody did reach out to me asking for a specific TV for a show or a movie, and it was like a specific one. And they sent me a picture of it. I said, I don't have that one, but I've got this one that's like the same era. No, they said it had to be that one. It didn't have to work. And I was like, well, sorry.
No, okay.
But yeah, it was for something. So I do randomly get questions about if I have something for a movie/art project. But then I found I kept finding these other businesses out there that are working with like these high-end firms and making like video walls that they charge like 10 grand for out of like CRTs that they've just found out of,
my buddy, I've got a buddy of mine who called These Rays on Instagram, and he's based in Stockholm, Sweden, and he does exactly that. He's been collecting BVMs and PVMs for years, and he rents them out to art studios, cafes, or some sort of fashion house that wants to have a cool display, films and stuff like that. And he's just based in Stockholm. He basically works the difficulty again shipping the CRT. So he may do a custom job where he might take the CRT himself, but of course, just shipping a set is difficult. But yeah, it happens. It's around. He was talking to me. Do I want to do it? And I think it's a cool idea. I would love to offer some of my sets, but what I understood is that was just a whole new business, requires a whole new focus. And like, Steve, you're working with retro gear. This shit can break at a moment's notice if you're not properly servicing and looking after it. And I was like, can I guarantee that stuff can work at any moment? I think a lot of us have this.
Yeah, that's definitely a tough thing. And also, I mean, just even with me too, and then having to make sure that somebody hasn't got, like, if you're not there, how do you know they're not hooking it up incorrectly or something? It's stressful.
So you've got to be there for the installation.
You got to like babysit.
That? It's a real tough part that that TV's 50 years old. All the consoles that we want to play with, the TVs, they're 20, they're 30 years old themselves. This stuff can break at any moment. We'll do the best job we can to repair, but it can be very fragile. And it's always that Murphy's Law that I'm going to show my friend something or take it over somewhere, and that's exactly the time that it's going to want to break or I'll have some malfunction. So you definitely, I think if you want to make a business around whatever it is, around such old devices, you really got to be prepared for anything that could happen and for things to have that capability at any moment.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, there's like, you've already got to be prepared, like, for something like that to happen. It happens. It's happened to me a lot. I've had things like that happen, and then, you just got to kind of push through it. It's like anything else. Yeah. Get lucky. But yeah, this is my favorite one right now, and because I guess I still got a couple more RF sets in the collection that we haven't gone through from that last haul. So we can go through those other ones sometime, but this was just way too cool. And it's funny, you don't even care that it's like, again, RF only.
It's part of it. I wouldn't want to do anything else but RF on that. I'm not looking for the sharpness of the BVM experience on that set. I think for me personally, that's not why I would want to enjoy it. And we already spoke about it's not like we're putting up with a blurry ass image or something like that. That looked great. The whole thing just authentic.
Yeah, so this will be like this will be the big next real big single CRT video. I've got like another video I'm going to do where I'm going to pack all those 3 mods probably into a single video for the RGB mod and S video one that we had talked about earlier. And that way people can see all of that. That'll be probably an hour, that video. because it's going to be 3 different whole CRTs getting modded. And
So why would you then make that? I'm just interested in your YouTube strategy. How come that's not 3 videos, and how come?
I don't know. The longer videos seem to do better numbers.
No.
And it's probably just because people are going back and watching the rest of it or the next chapter, getting clicks later. But those videos that are over like 40 minutes for me do better than a video that like I also think I only get time to like video edit once every couple weeks. Yet at the same time I have all this footage and I'm like, well, I could split it up and do 3 different videos, but then maybe somebody, I don't know, I feel like I was like, well, I'll try it with making one longer video and maybe less of them. So you come to my channel and it's like videos that have longer content, have higher view counts, and less number of videos makes it look less good. I don't know. It's just something different, kind of trying. Also making it to where somebody's like, oh, good, here's a video that Steve came out with. Again, if it has 3 or 4 things that they want to see in it, they'll come back and watch the rest of it later. And as opposed to me just dropping 3 videos where it's like, oh, I like this one, but I don't really care to watch that one. I don't know.
Could be that thing that people want to put them on in the background. I'm going to put it on while I'm studying or doing whatever I do. It does seem to be a trend that YouTube does like these longer ones. Yeah, once a creator gets some steam going, that there seems to be a common pattern I'm hearing that if you get to that longer format, once you get a little bit of your niche, like they do well. It's a good. Roger did that. Roger went straight into those long ass ones.
Yeah.
It's been common that the long ones get traction once your fans are on board with what you're doing.
Yeah, like a longer video generally, I mean, even eventually they'll get to like at least 5,000-6,000 views, which is at this point it's really like it's not easy to like break through kind of with the way the algorithm works now. I mean, it's not like I've got 30-something thousand subscribers, but at the end of the day, like anybody, it's been so long. How many of those accounts are really even still actively watch you? I don't know at this point. So but I feel good if it's like I could send out videos and they get, that's a good sign if it gets like a fifth of that level people watching the video. And I also feel like that's a better quality product for people if they do like to come watch the video, as opposed to watching something that's over in 12 minutes and then just another one that's kind of a 12-minute thing. And I don't know. I mean, it's YouTube. We try everything different.
Whatever does it for you, man. If that's what you're liking and that's what you're enjoying, I think that's a unstated X factor. If that's what you're at right now, right on, man. Do that.
Well, plus, you think about it, you're like, well, if somebody's like, hey, where you been for a while? It's like, well, I'll drop a video that's longer, and then they realize it takes a little more time for that to happen. So, like, I really used to be concerned with taking gaps in the channel and not, like, producing a video every single week, and that it would hurt the viewership of the channel if I didn't do that. And I was like, I don't want to be worried about that. But how do I do both, like not hurt the viewership of the channel? Well, it seems to be working if I make these really longer videos that are quality, that have more packed into it. And then by doing that, like a video that might have been about one mod and restoration, and I can actually chop a good portion, just like maybe fluff, worthless, kind of edit out more of that, and then put it in as like a 6 to 8 minute segment, right? And a video, as opposed to just making a 12-minute video out of just that thing.
I think that's the point. I think that you expressed that very well there. It's a uncommonly positive bit of news about the algorithm. Usually news about the algorithm is, the algorithm screwed me. Oh, it doesn't show me. It's a big jip. I'm not doing as well. But I hear often when people go for that long form and when they've established their voice, they've got a bit of a fan base and they switch over to longer stuff, I'm hearing a common thread that it goes well. And I guess I like that. I like hearing a happier story about the algorithm that, heaven forbid, something actually still works well on this social media here. Ed White's in the chat, my man down there in Albania making those high quality cables.
That's right.
Actually, Edward, while he's there, Edward, he's down there in Albania. He's making analog video cables. He's making them available on a custom basis. He ships them to US, to Europe, of course, to the US, across the world. I've got one of them. I've got his Dreamcast cable. Haven't actually used it yet because I haven't had time to do it. But Edward, tell us about the cable stock that you use. I mean, you've thought very carefully about that. What's your opinion on the shielding of the video versus the analog? What's your experience? I mean, it'll probably take a while. I've got a bit of lag there, but tell us a little bit about the shielding and the quality of cable that you use. And also, I know that he was talking about length. Of course, length makes a difference with analog or whenever we're talking about analog signals. So, yeah, nice.
Yeah, you can throw that stuff in there. Yeah, talk about and maybe while he does that, we can also bring up this clip. Did you see the clip that Leon shared from like a Facebook group of this older gentleman working on a CRT tube, and he vents the tube?
No.
You didn't see this? Well, no. The funny thing is we also think we caught him accidentally zapping himself with the nail on probably like some residual rebuilding up of some tube charge on this tube. So we can watch it and see what everybody thinks. I'll play this clip.
Yes, please.
So anybody who hasn't seen this, again, we'll just watch this clip. I'll pull it up on the screen here. Give me a second. And
wait, will I get the video? Will I get the audio?
Yeah, I don't know if you will get the audio. Doggone it. I don't know that. Oops, that's the wrong button. Hang on.
I don't need the audio.
Hang on a second. I accidentally clicked the wrong button on the icons here. We don't need to open that.
I can watch it straight from the YouTube stream. It'll be a few moments delayed, but I can still watch.
Yeah, I've got it up here. Let's pop it out. Right, pop it out. Oh, how do you do the larger view of it? There we go. Okay. I'm going to bring this over to Lewis's side. And Lewis, yeah, if you want to, you could get back on the Twitter timeline. This is the post right here, and you could probably just watch it there too. Let's open it up.
Oh, okay. Yep. Oh, Leon Carey.
Yeah. Okay.
That's on your one. You reposted that, did you?
I did repost this, so I'm going to expand this, and then I'm going to expand this over us, and then hopefully,
oh yeah, here we go.
We could get a good view of this thing, and could definitely hear. Let's see what we hear. Turn that audio up in there, and let's see how loud this is.
I'm about to demonstrate the safest way to take picture tube to air. Always take caution. Make sure you've discharged the tube. Use a sharp object such as a nail. Place it carefully in the center of the anode button. When it is placed in the center of the anode button, just tap it lightly. The nail punctures that thin metal seal. When you remove that, you will hear the.
Oh wow! Okay, that.
After
that
this is
video is
tube is safe to dispose of. Always take care and be safe.
Yeah. So
there's a bunch of shit to unpack with this old bloke here. All right, where are we gonna begin?
I know, right? All right, I have to just. I'm gonna. If everybody be quiet for one little second, I want to hear this one little part because it's funny enough. It's like talking about discharging the tube, and then you'll hear a click. Okay, Let's see if we hear it.
Place it carefully in the center of the anode button. When it is placed
right there, did you hear that? And you see his hand jump? Listen.
When it is placed in the center of the...
Wait a second. I swear I just saw this app. I swear I just saw it.
Set in the center of the anode button. Just tap lightly.
I went far. I didn't go far back enough. All right, hang on. And we'll give it over. And I'm not. I mean, this has happened. This will happen with these tubes. They re-energize.
In the center of the anode button. When it is placed in the center.
Just right there, because his hand even moves. Like and he goes. But anyway. The clip is interesting because I've never seen anybody do that. Also, the rest of the clip,
Under
right?
the yellow button.
And that's
Just
obviously
tap lightly. The metal punctures that thin metal seal.
So
When
the
you remove
intent.
that, you will hear the air escape into the tube.
so it's venting the tube. Okay, so there you go, everybody. That's our fun little clip of the day.
Which would technically be air rushing in.
To dispose of.
Yeah.
Always take care and be safe.
Always take care and be safe.
That's nuts.
All right, folks. Yeah. So always.
So there's a bunch of stuff there. So this old bloke is saying to safely dispose of a CRT tube, we should get rid of the vacuum inside. Is that science? Is that?
Well, so I mean,
it
is. It's considerate if you. Let me get rid of that, and I'll bring it back up here.
I'm about to
We don't need to listen to it again. So it's considerate if you think about it that this thing won't implode, or have like a rock fall on it if you throw it in the landfill or trash. Make a vacuum when I guess it'll implode if the seal breaks properly. I don't know. I've never really seen them vent. I think that's just a safe way to get in there and actually vent the tube because there's no other point on the whole thing that's not glass.
So if it's a vacuum on the inside,
Yes,
and there was
vacuum sealed.
some break, it won't implode. It's just air will rush in.
Right,
Just air
yeah,
rushes in
it
like
just
that.
Yeah, so I've never really seen anybody care to do that. I've really never seen that. But maybe it was more of an older thing when you'd actually. The only way you'd really do that is if you had a tube that you wanted to take it all the way apart and rip apart.
Mm.
And you would do that if the tube had a color gone, I guess, and it's completely useless at this point. But yeah, Leon shared that, and then the guy I'm sure has been working on. He looks like from his hand and his voice, he sounds like he's got way more experience than either of us combined. But I was just like dying because I watched it. I didn't think about it much, but somebody brought it up on the Twitter timeline that he shocked himself. And I was like, I think he did shock himself.
Right. So we want to point out that is, if you don't know what you're doing there, that is extremely dangerous. He has put a bit of metal right up to the anode cap, a conductor.
Oh, let me
And
check, yeah.
if there was any charge left in that tube, that residual charge is going to go through that nail into his hand and zap him. I'm not sure I would want to do that even if I knew that the tube was, I'd want to wear gloves. Let's say I had to do the nail trick.
I mean, I was laughing because when I was working on those 20-inch CRTs, which were they were two Sonys and a JVC. Those sons of guns, they didn't have any bleed discharge resistor on them. They always would pop. And man, there's a couple times I'd be like working with them, putting them in, testing them, pull the board out without like trying to discharge, and I'd pop. I mean, I'm like, I laugh. I shocked myself like 5 or 6 times working on those things with the anode cap, and it's equivalent to me. What I was feeling was equivalent to going up and grabbing an old cattle fence when I was like 10 and I was dared. Oh, hey man, like the guy Jeff be like, yo, you're a pussy if you don't touch that electric fence, Steve. And you're like, well, I'm not a chicken, Jeff. And you go grab it, and you're like, all right. And it's like, so that's what it felt like. And then I was like, ugh, like this for a little bit.
We
But you
saw the
don't wanna
hospital
do that.
video, Steve.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
So it's not good.
I don't know why.
You'd want to discharge the tube.
You've been not discharged. I mean, but why? But what does happen with that style of a tube is you discharge it once, even. You leave it for. You can discharge it once and then come back immediately and discharge it a second time, and it will still have that. So I'm sure he discharged it once, maybe twice. You come back a third time with some of those, and you discharge it, and then immediately it circles some leftover electrons still inside the tube, and it's got to charge again, discharge it again. It'll do that 2 or 3 times.
That's the one to watch out for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. I wonder if he's like, does he register that there's a zap, or is he just like plunging on through like?
Yeah, I don't know. He says he's got. I checked him out. There's always these guys on Facebook. There was one guy I finally muted him because he was one of the. I think we talked about him before. He was this old guy, and he would just constantly like. Oh yeah, that's the guy. That's the YouTuber. You know, that was like, he's like an older guy who's been working on TVs who obviously got offended by me just working on him instead of letting nobody work on him and let him remain a mystery. And anytime somebody like posts something of mine, he would laugh and make all these jokes. And I was like, I'm tired of like looking at this. But there's this guy. I don't know. I tried to find out kind of just where he was located. I think he is located in Canada somewhere. And he says he has a seminar he teaches. And so I have no idea. I just found him on one of the
he's got a master class, has he? I can pay 900.
Yeah. You go there and watch him vent tubes, like what? And then see what you want to do with a vented tube. Then you basically got to throw the thing away. It's not worth anything
you can do anymore. Yeah.
But
yeah, I have to admit, I have stopped writing in Reddit CRT forums for my own mental health. It was for every, like, there's some satisfaction. I help someone out, give some advice, something like that. And then, you know, for every 5 of those, there's like one fucking actually guy. And I'm like, oh, I can't deal with you anymore. You have to pipe in, and that's what Bob from Retro RGB, he's so good at giving like every edge case. He's clearly just had that coming at him for so many years. His natural way of speaking now is to give every caveat, every edge case. I could see it in the way, and he's very good now at discussing these things. And I can't take it anymore. I had to just like no more posting on Reddit for Lewis's mental health.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea, is to not just stay out of it. If you don't, I mean, if it hurt, like I got banned off that. I think the frames I think our signal just dropped, but we're reconnecting.
Went down a little bit there, but you dropped a few frames, did you?
Man, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure why. It's like I'm at over 6,000 kbps, and then it'll randomly drop. That's the only time it's done that, besides at the very beginning. But,
maybe some bird sat on your wire at the side. And that's what's causing these at the countryside out there.
So what else is going on? You got the rest of this week tied up pretty much?
Yeah, I got training courses. So next 3 days, training courses all day. Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Next week, I think there's a few more. And then the week after that, I will actually be in San Diego for exactly 4 nights.
Nice.
We are flying in, training with our partners there. Maybe some people have heard of Jocko Willink, the podcaster and author. With his company, Echelon Front, we are doing some days of training with our partners there in San Diego. So we fly into San Diego, 4 nights there, do the training, and then back home straight away almost. So it's a bit of a whistle-stop tour. But that's all planned. So that's the next big thing for me. I'm working towards that, preparing my training for the training, doing that. So working towards that third USA trip of the year. I want to say like I'm some big traveler, but that's just how it goes. So yeah, man, working towards that. I'll be like focusing a lot next week. I think I'll have time for a stream next week as well.
Okay, well, no pressure if you don't, but it's, we always love hanging out, and everybody does.
Looking good.
I actually have my I'll be at a football game this Thursday, so if anybody in America wants to tune in and watch the game with me on ESPN, the JMU Dukes, which is the team that you would see the basketball for, is the team there. The football game here.
Right, so it's Thursday a football game. Is God, like huge
Yeah, the outside
stadium
thing.
that we
Yeah,
saw.
yeah.
Oh my God, that thing looks like a coliseum. Like
That's not even a big one. That only seats
I know
like 30,000 people.
30,000. Here I am, this backward Eastern European guy over here.
No,
I
not
don't know
even
nothing.
that many. But I'll be there with some buddies Thursday night at that game, and that's about the only.
How do you even get a beer with 30,000 people? Is this just a bar every 2 steps? So how do you even get juiced up?
Yeah, there's a bar right outside the thing, but I don't know yet. I gave I have a bunch of family that normally goes with me, but they're not going to this game. And I gave them away to a bunch of buddies, and I was like, yeah, you guys just buy me beers if I want them at the stadium so I don't have to go down and get in the line. It's not too bad, but it's not that great either. Because, here's the thing. I don't like that. So they went this year and no more cash. No cash in our place. Oh, yeah. And then they sell you a beer for $10. And all the people behind the counter they do this. They grab the beer you say out of a cooler, and they won't even give it to you sealed. They have to take their nasty finger and open it and then give it to you.
Oh, yeah.
And then they tell you that they say, there's your total. You stick your card in, and it asks for a tip. And then I said, no, I know. And I put no tip in there. And then they look at me like I'm a jerk. And I'm like, screw you. What are you going to do to the beer? Besides have a dirty finger. So I don't know, man. It just it burns me the wrong way that they even do that. And again, it's like if you go to the other lines that have food, you don't even the foods come on a heating plate in front of you, and you go grab it off this tray. You go over and you set it down. You scan your card. Those people literally do nothing, and they want you to tip them. And it's like all you did was ring up. Why do you? I'm like, at what point are they gonna say you don't need to exist and they replace you with a McDonald's kiosk? It's like,
what is the intent of tipping? That's a tough one, man.
I don't understand. I normally if I went to a bar and ordered a drink or I would buy it, I would get a tip. Of
course.
It's at the point though now where they're asking for tips for literally doing nothing, and they're already charging you to death on everything. And normally I'm not anti-tip guy or anything. No, anytime that I'm normally used to tip. But again, I think that it's, tip culture's gone insane. I'm not the only one who thinks that. There's just too much of them not doing anything and then asking for a tip. So,
as opposed to watching a football game in Portugal where you pay €1.50 for a beer and then watch. Yeah, I would probably.
I wish I could pay €1 for a beer now.
Pretty good.
No, so I usually sneak in a little plastic flask of my favorite bourbon, and then I just don't get up from my seat. And I'm like, I get a water bottle. I go down there and I get a water bottle so I don't pass out.
Then you're getting more blasted because you're not even walking around or anything like that. Well, you're getting up. I know you. You'll be yelling some shit. 100%.
Oh yeah, right.
I'm sure about it. Yeah, I'm sure of this.
I know. I'm already thinking about basketball game. My buddy wants us to get giant goofy suits to wear to the basketball games, where it would be a gold and a purple suit, like something from Dumb and Dumber. So and I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. I'm sure my wife would love to go.
What? Are these team colors or what's the suits?
The team colors, so that we'll always be on the Jumbotron. So I don't know why. So I don't know. But yeah, I'll be that. You'll be working, and I'll be working
hard
too.
Doing that, looking after. I got my little doggy here. I'm looking after him. He's my
your new
priority,
roommate?
making sure. Yes, absolutely, making sure he's okay. Taking him out to, I don't even mind now that he's got to go pee every few hours. And actually, I get a walk around the block every few hours now. I never used to. How it is. You sit at your computer or whatever you're doing. I now have to get out of the house. And does Cole run around outside? How does he like the outside?
No, yeah, I have to take him out. He'll chase squirrels and stuff.
Okay,
he'll chase the squirrels and try to go get into trouble, anything. So no, I have to. But yeah, I'll take him out, walk him. He's pretty good though. He'll sleep for 8 hours and not go to the bathroom or anything. So he can go a good
Oh.
long time, but yeah, I do walk him around a few times. I mean, we all do a few times throughout the day. So that's a good way to kick the TV off. I accidentally kicked the cord out.
Love it.
But so yeah, that's Cole's good. So he'll be I've got a bunch of these videos. I'm trying to get, like I said, I'll try to get something soon because it's been a couple weeks. I'll try to get one of those pumped out about all those RGB mods. What about you? You gonna have any? You gonna go to are you gonna have any time to do anything when you're in San Diego besides work?
No,
Yeah,
it's just gonna be work the whole time. We're staying at some resort. Is it Hilton Hyatt Resort?
Yeah,
I don't know, some down by there. So we're just staying there. It's just gonna be only working for those days. In and out, 17 hours each way, 2 stops, only hand luggage. But we just got to do what we got to do. Come in. I mean, no doubt we'll just spend the whole time hyped up on the jet lag. When you go in that direction from Europe to here, that's the good direction. Like you wake up early and you're ready to go at 5 a.m. So I'm just going to ride that jet lag and then never get over it, I guess.
Till you get back.
Like, yeah, just go straight for it. We're going to be up at 5 a.m. Jocko style, doing our workouts and burpees and all that stuff, doing a great job back home. And then I guess collapse when we come back home straight away. But we would have done the job. Yet I haven't thought beyond that. I gotta buy. You know what I gotta do? I gotta buy a car as well, and I haven't dedicated the time to like get a look. And so I gotta go buy a car. I've got the money. I want to spend like $5-6 grand. I'm just gonna buy something outright.
Yeah,
nothing too fancy, just solid. A little bit of a family thing. We can put the family in there. Don't need anything outrageous. But I gotta find that time. I just gotta do it. You know, I haven't actually. I'm not taking the beautiful yacht like you have. So. Just dedicating time to go buy a car. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually got, my wife and kids are going on a trip to drive somewhere, and I got so tired of my car getting messed up because it just seems to keep messing up that I've rented them a car to go on this trip.
You mean the Audi? You don't trust the Audi anymore?
I don't trust anything. I'm just renting because I've got on there and for a car for a week, it was only like under 200. It was 275. I was like, okay, we're not. I'm like one blown out tire is going to cost more than that on that car.
Worth more than that. So yeah, I just rented a car for the week, and it was 300, like a Highlander, like a Toyota new Highlander hybrid, the whole thing. Actually, that's one thing that I guess we got to wrap up soon. I should head off pretty soon, but
that's fine.
I didn't also. Pardon me. There's something I've been doing last week, and I totally forgot about it. That last week I was on the comedy tour and I was the promoter for Jimmy Carr and his stand-up shows in 3 countries. So you might know Jimmy Carr. He's the guy with the suit who says all the jokes that always get him canceled. Very witty guy, he's on British TV as well. So we presented his comedy shows in Helsinki in Finland, in Tallinn in Estonia, and Vilnius in Lithuania, across 3 countries. So I got to hang out with Jimmy for a few days. It's not like we're just hanging out doing whatever. I'm the driver. I'm taking him around. I delegate all the jobs. Everything's handled. So my only job is to look after Jimmy, make sure he's okay, take him where he needs to go, whatever arrangement he might need. And it's cool. I've known him a bit now. We've promoted him a few times over the years. And it's enjoyable to just speak with someone who's like such a professional and working at a high level. That dude's a world-class comedian. He's world-class at what he does. And he's so sharp. He's so on it. He's so professional. And you hang around such people working at that level. You're like, wow, how can I ever be like that? So that was a very cool experience to get access to someone like that, hang out, spend some time with him. He seemed happy with the shows, to do a good job for him. Everything was in order. He's a real professional. He does 2 shows a night, does the first show 90 minutes, takes his break for 45 minutes, turns around, does a second show without thinking about it. He's just that good. His rider, like his backstage rider, is 6 bottles of water. That's it. No nothing. No M&Ms, no cocaine, no nothing. Just 6 bottles of water.
Just 6 bottles of water.
That's all he wants.
Is it a specific type of water or just water?
San Pellegrino. Okay, true. So he's got the brand. Sam, fine. That's his diva moment.
Okay.
Is the San Pellegrino. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. That's a great moment to work with those guys and one of the parts of being a promoter. So yeah, I was doing all that next week, traveling around with him, going back and forth on ferry. So that's why I had to rent the car to drive Jimmy around. We wanted to have a nice Highlander. He's got doesn't have to be a limo or nothing like that. It's not some star shit. Just some, nice big SUV that there's plenty of room for everybody.
Yeah, plus a rental car, at least it's clean too. That's another thing.
It's clean. As you said, it's not going to break down. Nothing like that. It all goes on the show budget. So yeah, I could understand you wanted to just rent that car for him, but you didn't have to drive to the airport.
No.
To get nothing. All right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I started using the Costco rental car club. And it's a little bit better deal. It's just, so now it lets me rent somewhere closer to town now, so it's not all the way.
So it's just a rental
airport.
out of Costco. It's a rental out of Costco, is it? Is that what the rental club is?
You just rent it through Costco.
All right.
And it's the same companies. Like I could go rent it from them, but I can also get it down the street now, and not have to go all that way. So it's like 2 miles from here, as opposed to 20 at that airport. So.
Right.
Yeah, because I went down there and got it this morning. They're not even leaving till tomorrow, so it doesn't even matter. It was like the same price. Like you said, you put a week, put it 6 days, it's the same price. So
what car is it?
It's like a Hyundai crossover thing. I don't even know what they are. It's like a mini SUV. Standard.
So you get some time. They're going without you. You get some.
Yeah, well, I gotta go do all this
Cole
work.
adventures.
Do all these stupid CRT. No, just kidding. I gotta do all this stuff.
Stupid work.
Yeah, 4-pack of cars. Now, thankfully, that's like I never knew they even did that. They don't do airports or anything. It's just airplane rides. It's just rental cars, hotels. But I've only done the rental cars in there now.
Costco hotel, that'd be great.
Yeah, and I also figured out too. I mean, most people probably already knew this, but most credit cards cover the insurance on the rental car.
Oh, okay.
Like, both of my credit cards cover $50,000 in damage to the rental car if anything happens if I use that card to rent it.
Right on. Okay, good.
So
I didn't even think about that. I don't even know.
Right. It was all you.
I just went and rented the car.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like here, they're like, oh, well, what's your insurance? And if you don't, they charge you like $40 a day. For their insurance, which is expensive. If you have it for a week, that's doubling your bill. So, but Lewis, I hope all that stuff goes awesome. We'll see if we can get together tomorrow, or not tomorrow, to next week.
Next week. Yeah, let's do one again next week before we go to San Diego, and then
we'll get some
recap on my journey. Unfortunately, I can't come and visit you because the way the flights work.
That's
I have to fly
anyway.
I have to fly directly into San Diego. Like it's the same cost for me basically to fly into New York or San Diego. Across the way that shit works, right? But the point is I can only fly into one. If I start doing that, cross country thing, then that's where the legs. So we were keeping the minimum cost here is like $1,000 round trip. So it was just into San Diego, straight back out again.
It's not too bad.
I can't afford to live in America, man. I'm on the clock every moment there. So without my friend without you or without my buddy in Atlanta to cover my expenses in some way, I need to got to think about that. Yeah. So it was easy to come in now. Dude. Hey, Ronnie's in the chat just before we leave. Say, Ronnie, we're ending it up, buddy, but nice to see you.
Yeah, go back to the beginning. We talked about a lot. No, I'm just kidding, Ronnie. Yeah, definitely check it out. We yeah, there's a whole art to trying to not be broke in America now. It's like it's everything's expensive except for the hot dog at Costco.
That is true. That is a good thought. Anyway, let's leave it on that thought. Everything is expensive except the hot dog at Costco. I love it. It's a beautiful way to end it.
Yeah. Thanks again, everybody, for showing up today. And if you did miss anything, like Ronnie, just coming in late, just go back and hit the reset on the show. Check it out. Catch up with us at the beginning. You can kind of see what we've been up to the last couple of weeks. We're going to do our best. We're going to be here next week.
Yes,
And,
so if you can click that like button on the way out, that really helps the channel.
It does.
If you can click the like on the stream, we appreciate it. You guys showing up there. Thank you very much. Steve, it's been a pleasure. Love it to catch up with you, my friend.
Yeah, it's always awesome chatting, Lewis. Have a great rest of your week and a great trip and everything.